Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Library Stage. I am so excited to be with my AASL buddy, Lori Misaka.
Yay.
She is a librarian at Waipahu Intermediate School on the island of Oahu in Hawaii. Her work centers on building community, providing an accessible, inclusive, and safe space for students to connect, learn, and grow together. She has served on the AASL National Standards Committee, the Hawaii DOE Multilingualism Policy Advisory Committee, and on the advisory committee for the May Book Project, a partnership between the Very Asian Foundation and We Need Diverse Books. As a school librarian and former ELA teacher for multilingual learners, Lori believes in developing library collections and programs that reflect the multicultural community she is proud to work with. Lori, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Amanda. I really appreciate you having me on your podcast. So loving the library stage and just what it offers for librarians and anyone interested in hearing about the library world. Um, yeah, so again, I am recording here from Hawaii. And, when I was thinking about the library stage and what I might be able to share, I know that probably a lot of listeners might be from the continental United States and just kind of curious about school librarianship in Hawaii or, some of the things that we might do in our libraries here that could be brought to your own libraries on the continent. So, as Amanda had mentioned, I am a librarian at Waipahu Intermediate, and Waipahu Intermediate is a former sugar plantation town on the island of Oahu. And so, like many other places in the islands, we have a very large immigrant population. We have many immigrant students and families from the Philippines, China, Japan, Samoa, Tonga, Chuuk, the Marshall Islands. I mean, we're just such a diverse, very multicultural community. And and also as a former ELA teacher for our multilingual students at the high school just up the street, it became really important for me to make sure that our library collection and classrooms really reflected the many cultures and languages of our community. So today, I just kind of wanted to share a few of the resources that I have either been a part of creating or helped to use in my collection development and programming. So one project that I've been very privileged to work with has been the May Book Project. So it was a collaboration between We Need Diverse Books and the Very Asian Foundation, and actually started because of student requests and student voice. There was actually a group of students in St. Louis, Missouri, Asian American students who were just realizing that in their libraries, the places that they go to try to feel seen and to look for books, they realized that there weren't almost any books that where they felt like they were reflected in. And so they kind of got together. They came up with a list of some book requests and tried to send it out to, I think it was 10 schools in the St. Louis area. And they were largely ignored. It was like very unfortunate, but it was just not, they didn't really get a response. They got maybe one response from one school. So the students, decided to do something about it. And so they got involved with the Very Asian Foundation. And so it kind of, yeah, just became this whole collaboration between librarians and other advocates in the community. So they put together a committee to try to think about like, so how can we kind of, because it's not only something in Missouri or, specific to a certain area, but in many places, probably in the US, who when we want to develop our collections and especially communities where maybe there aren't a lot of Asian Americans. So, the librarians aren't really sure which books would, be good choices, which books really truly represent and reflect the cultures. And so, um, yeah, so a committee was formed, and so I kind of joined a few years into the process. Sarah Park Dallin, who is a amazing professor at the University of Illinois, Urbana Champaign, she kind of reached out to me and asked me, especially being in Hawaii, they wanted to include Pacific Islander books as well. So just recommendations using the Asian Pacific American Librarians Association rubric for kind of evaluating literature to make sure that the books that we selected had uh, perspectives that were, kind of insiders' perspectives. They were written and or illustrated by Asian American authors and artists. Books that had fully fleshed out characters who were not just tokens or stereotypes. And I think we linked it in the show notes, the link to the make book project. And so the APALA rubric is also linked in there, and there's a lot of resources in there if you're interested in again using the make book project list for collection development. And they are divided into early readers, picture books, middle grades, young adult, adult crossover. So there's all of those, and there's one comprehensive list that includes books in all age levels. So it's just something that I really love to share, especially with colleagues on the continent who would yeah, just like some great book recommendations. And I think some of the book recs that I have for later in this episode are included in the Made Book project list as well. Um,
Have you done any, like, programming with the books that you've purchased or, like, reached out in the community with that, to kinda bring it a little bit more into the library?
yes, for sure. So, so with a lot of the books that we recommended, and the books that I pulled from are many of the books that I actually purchased from Best Press, which is a local publisher. And Best Press is amazing. They publish books from a lot of Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, and Asian American authors. And so they have been great in partnering with our school. They're always open to uh, book events, like having some authors and illustrators come into the school. They'll do readings and just different library programs. And they've also have this amazing educator discount, which will be available as well for all of you listeners at any school libraries. Best Press is great at supporting our school librarians. So, our school is very fortunate in that we were able to get a literacy grant with which, so we partnered with Best Press, and Best Press actually published a book of stories written by our multilingual learners. So, our students who are in our ESOL classes, actually, and then with their social studies teachers, worked on writing and illustrating stories. And so they're bilingual stories. They were published side by side. So we had, Marshallese, Samoan, Ilocano, Tagalog, different stories. And so Best Press really worked with our students in terms of providing like mentor authors. Some artists and writers worked either over Zoom or came into the school, kind of helped students to think of how to develop their stories, and then went over the whole publishing process with them. We were able to go on a field trip to Best Press and kind of see back of the house, and this is how things happen, or this is how it gets edited, or this is how we work with artists to illustrate the children's books. And so just like a fantastic experience for our multilingual learners. And so again, like Best Press is able to do all of these partnerships and collaborations because they're just fully rooted in the community in Hawaii, and they just work with all of the local authors and artists, and just love supporting our students in schools. So yeah, so again, like I love to plug Best Press and support them. And I'm always excited when they contact me and say, hey, we're publishing this new book of poems by a Samoan poet, or they know the demographics of our schools, and so they're able to recommend certain books that would really be of interest to our students.
When you were talking, I went and found him on Instagram. I was like, "I'm gonna
Oh,
follow
yeah.
him so that I can remember this when I'm doing collection development."
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited to take a look at the Maybook project. I wish I'd known about it sooner. I feel like it's not getting enough love. So I'm so excited that this episode will be coming out in August when Best Press is offering a 30% discount as opposed to their year round 20% discount. And so I definitely want to check them out because I think we can always grow our collections and make sure that we are representing all people, especially like I don't have very many AAPI students in my area, but do they need to like learn about your culture and see themselves and see others reflected on the pages? Do you have some books that you would recommend that you could maybe purchase from Best Press?
Yes, absolutely. So, again, I'm super excited to plug these books because they are all on our Made Book Project list, and some are available through Best Press. So, the first book is Lee Tonouchi's picture book called Okinawan Princess: The Legend of the Hajichi Tattoos, and this is it's just an amazing book because I know that not I mean even Hawaii people, or like Okinawan immigrants in Hawaii, like weren't really aware of some of the history behind these Hajichi tattoos, which were a tradition among women in Okinawa. And so he was able to to write this book, and it's amazing. It's trilingual. It's in Okinawan, Japanese, and English because the native Okinawan language has actually been slowly fading. A lot of the younger generations don't know the language, and so Lee, the author, he, part of his mission is to help, again, spread awareness that there is a separate language from, Japanese, and, Okinawan had its own language. And so, yeah, so great book, like super interesting for anybody, Okinawan or not. So that's one recommendation. A second recommendation that I have is a graphic novel called Monstrous, right, by Sarah Myer. And this is just so this book, I love recommending it because it's actually a book that has been really pivotal for some of my students at my school. Again, it's a graphic novel about an adoptee from Korea who she gosh, I don't I was just I can't say enough good things about this. So, so the character is just, struggling with her identity and, fitting in, and just, reconciling her heritage, and being with her adoptive family, and just having there's a lot of emotions, anger, frustration, different things that come up with her in her experience. And so the most powerful thing was that when I bought it for our library, and there was a student who was adopted, who had a lot of the same issues that were um, highlighted in the book, and she came back and she checked the book out over and over again, and she said, like, she's like, "Where has this book been?" She's like, "This is me." Like, she's like, "I've never seen a character like this, in a book before." I mean, she's like, "This is like so just so me." And like, "Thank you. Like, where's more books like this?" And so I went on this hunt and trying to, find other books too, because it's just, of course we know how amazing it is to feel seen and to find that book, that character, experience in a book. So, but yes, I mean, just gorgeously illustrated, and just amazing story. And my third recommendation is Lei and the Invisible Island, which is part of a series by a local author, Malia Maunakea. And again, sometimes it's a little harder to find our middle grade books, right? I feel like it's just a category that's kind of been shuffled around and all of that. So I was so excited to have a book by a local author, which is also great for our middle readers. And um, one of the things that I love about it too is, representation about Hawaii and Hawaiian characters or Hawaiian mythology. It's hasn't been out there a lot, right? I mean, that's where a lot of kind of misconceptions or stereotypes about Hawaii come about. And so I love that there was a character who the main character is a girl who, written by, again, a part Native Hawaiian author who interweaves, Hawaiian mythology and stories and what it's like even coming home to her tutu or, her grandma on the big island. And, she's spending time with her family in Hawaii, and then and it's fantasy, right? And so there's like the fantasy elements involved. So yeah, it just combines a lot of great, uh, amazing elements in it. So super excited to recommend that too.
Yeah, I read and loved that one. So I'm so excited that you shared that one as well, because we do need more middle grade. You know, it's such a weird age that keeps kind of changing. Like it used to be like third through sixth, and now it's like fifth through eight, or it just keeps
Right.
bouncing around. And so this one I think fits firmly in middle grade. I had it in my middle school library. So all three fantastic recommendations. They will also be linked in the show notes. Where can people find you, Lori, if they want to reach out?
Yeah, so I have our school library on Instagram. It's at Waipahu Interlibrary, or you can just Google Waipahu Intermediate Library and you'll find our school website. So yeah, those are definitely. If you message me on Instagram, I will be happy to hear from you.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much for being on today. It was a joy to talk to you as always. And I hope you have a great start to your school year.
Mahalo, you too.